let's shift over to the West because this is way more interesting, honestly,
Yes, way more
because
interesting.
we have a chance to have Luca, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, the zombified corpse of Klay Thompson, Draymond Green's kicks, and either De'Aaron Fox or Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal have a chance to be in this because currently the Kings, the Mavericks, and the Suns are all have the same record. The Suns are just up a half game, and they're all 7-3 in their past 10 games. We have a chance to see some legends in this in-season tournament. And honestly, after this year, I was kind of like iffy on the in-season tournament. But this, we're like, oh, this is just like the final send-off for your childhood heroes.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad because this Warriors team, right now, you're slated to see Lakers and Warriors, which could very well be the last time that we see Steph and LeBron face each other in the playoffs. And honestly, like both teams are not going to go far. The Lakers don't have any perimeter defense, and the Warriors are so Steph dependent. It's honestly upsetting for a guy who just turned 36. Like
Yeah.
it's sad, but you're going to see. I think it still will be a great series and a great game overall. But I honestly, it's kind of a coin flip who I'd pick, but I'd probably pick the Lakers as of right now. Um,
Hmm.
but it's honestly like you flip a coin, whoever wins that. I know Steph Curry historically owns LeBron in the all-time series, but I think that I don't know. But Lakers and Warriors, it's just a great matchup. So I'm honestly happy with whoever wins that one.
Yeah, Steph feels like he always loses these games to LeBron. But it's like one game. If it's a one game though, it's like Steph does have the potential to go nuclear. I believe they beat the Lakers recently here, but again, it is that the Lakers just seem a lot bigger than the Golden State Warriors, so it's going to be on LeBron James to do it. And then also, if you're the Lakers, you really need the 7th seed because you've lost 13 straight games to the Denver Nuggets. Do the math there. Does that lend itself to winning 4 out of 7 games in a first round series when you have no perimeter defense and Michael Porter is 6'10"? You have Christian Braun. He's on the team, I guess. And then Jamal
It's true,
Murray.
he is.
It's true, he is. And then Jamal Murray, who is a absolute furnace in the playoffs and takes his game to another level. It's like, all right, whoever gets the 8th seed, you're toast.
Yeah, no, you are. And I think honestly, the Lakers should try to shoot for the 6th seed, but I don't think that's even attainable.
Yeah.
They should try to avoid the Nuggets like the plague, and that'll be how they do it. Because the 2nd seed, I believe, is the Thunder. The Thunder, I think the Thunder will take care of the Lakers. They'll probably beat them in 5 or 6,
Yeah.
but I think the Thunder you have more of a chance with because that team is so young. Playing against an all-time great like LeBron or even Steph in this case, either of the two,
Yeah.
like you could maybe see them not play to their best ability. You're facing off against a top 5 player of all time. Like
Yeah.
maybe then you could see that there. Maybe Anthony Davis is more consistent in the playoffs. The Lakers, you saw the run they went on last year, making it to the Western Conference Finals. Anything's possible. The
Yeah.
Thunder are a better team, but they are really young. So anything you could see them potentially slip in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's always like is this going to harm them or is it going to help them? The thing I like with the Thunder a lot though is Jalen Williams is arriving as a legitimate number 2 there to go along with SGA. And then also the only person not shooting above 37% from 3 is Josh Giddey. Chet Holmgren is letting it fly. Like everyone on this team is letting it like even Gordon Hayward is shooting like 55% right now.
That's insane.
So like this team is a team that can shoot it. Both of their centers can shoot threes here, but they're also a team that knows when to take their shots. It's a great team to deep dive, especially with how they built after the Kevin Durant era. But really what I would want to see is Mavericks Thunder in the first round. I think it'd be absolutely electric,
Yeah.
especially when you have Luca and Kyrie. I think it would be a 7-game series. Maybe it takes the Thunder or the Mavericks a few games to get going, but I think inevitably like Luca and Kyrie could take over, or we see the Thunder rise to the occasion there. But I think that would be the best case scenario for the first round, or seeing the Mavericks slide up there and face the Timberwolves. And I hope that the Mavericks get the 6th seed ideally and then push down the Suns into that in-season tournament because talk about a disappointing team. Like, okay, we go out there, get Devin Booker, who's on the team in the draft. Then we trade for Kevin Durant, give up all of our assets. Oh no, we don't have a bench. Who would have thought? It didn't work in Brooklyn. They're like, oh no, we don't have a bench. And then the Suns trade for him, and they're like, oh, same thing that happened in Brooklyn. How could we have seen this coming? And then you trade for Bradley Beal, and then they're like, oh, they've only played I think like 23 games together as a unit. And then Kevin Durant there was one stretch where over the past 5 games, he had 4 points in the fourth quarter.
Dude.
For Kevin Durant, I'm like, why is Kevin Durant taking a back seat? Which is the most frustrating part about Kevin Durant. I know Kevin Durant. I don't play basketball. I'm not an NBA player. Means I know nothing and can't talk basketball.
Whatever you do, don't check Twitter.
Whatever you do, don't check Twitter, KD. And then they're like, oh, Bradley Beal has an injury issue. He's hurt. That's weird. Devin Booker's had hamstring issues. Kevin Durant's had injury issues over the past 5 years. It's like, what are we doing? Like, who built this team? Like, you have
Could've
3
seen it
players
coming.
that do the same thing that all have injury issues. What
Yeah.
a great idea.
Honestly, I'm okay with the Suns falling into that in-season tournament. Like, whether it's them facing the Warriors or facing the Mavericks, I think that would set up a good narrative, especially with KD versus Kyrie. You get the breakup. No matter what, I think the Suns are more interesting in the play-in tournament with any of the 3 matchups that are currently there. And then I think the Kings against the Timberwolves, I would take the Kings to beat the Timberwolves.
Yeah. I mean,
honestly,
it'd be the battle of the useless centers. Who's more useless in the playoffs? Is it Sabonis or Rudy Gobert?
I think Rudy's much more useless.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, yeah, he has no offensive skills, which is kind of a problem in the NBA.
Well, at least he can dunk.
Yeah. Oh,
Which is something. Can you dunk?
actually, he can set picks and roll.
And he can block shots like a motherfucker.
He goes up real high and throws it down.
It's amazing how good of a blocker a 7'3" center is. Who knew?
Yeah. Anthony Edwards, though, I will say is a bright spot for that team. But at the same time, I'm like, Mike Conley, really?
Still.
Hey,
you're talking about the horse champion. You better watch your mouth.
the I'm sorry. The horse champion,
The horse
Mike
champion.
Conley.
The winner of Zoom.
Yeah, but I think that 6th seed is inevitably going to beat the Timberwolves. If it's not the Suns, I would take the Timberwolves, honestly, to beat the Suns, though. And then I think the Kings and the Mavericks make it out. Honestly, I think the Lakers and the Warriors both miss out on the playoffs. And then if I had to pick a team that's not the Mavericks or the Kings, I would say if the Lakers is going to make the playoffs, I would swap out probably the Kings, sadly. But like Kyrie and Luka in a one and done scenario, I can't pick against them. And then we get up to the 4 versus the 5. Currently, it's the Clippers and the Pelicans right now.
Very good series.
Very good series. And the interesting thing is, after the All-Star break, we gave Zion a lot of grief for the inter-season tournament, and deservedly so. But after that, he's lost 20 pounds, and he's averaging 28, I believe, 8 rebounds and 4 assists. Yeah, so 7 rebounds and 4 assists in 27 games after the All-Star break. That's a pretty big sample size, and they're starting to use him now as a ball handler. And now we're starting to see the Zion Williamson we were promised, and kind of reminds me similar to Joel Embiid when Joel Embiid was drafted. Like, he had some injury issues, wasn't able to play the first few years. Giannis and Embiid both have weight issues. Definitely 2 very different issues there, but kind of had some injuries, and now Zion is turning into the point guard. So it's like, okay, now we can spread everyone else out and put Zion kind of in that center position. And you have CJ McCollum there who can fill it up. You have Brandon Ingram there, and then you have some really good young 3-and-D guys on this team. And then on the other side, it's like versus a team that's way too young, where your best players, same age as me, 23, versus James Harden. I mean, Russell Westbrook, who is currently out right now for the rest of the season, so he's not even there. And then it's what's left of Paul George, and is Kawhi Leonard going to stay healthy for the whole series? If you had to pick today, do you think the way too young team wins or the old team wins?
Well, that's a tough one. I think that I really like the Clippers roster, but I think the Pelicans are ascending fast. With how Zion's playing, I mean, we remember 2019 well. We remember how good that Duke team was, how fun and exciting Zion was. And I was really let down the last few years with how Zion's been, whether it was his weight issues, whether it was with the porn star, whether it was with all the different injuries that he incurred. I was really worried. But now to see him rise up, I think that I would take the Pelicans here just because they're hotter, they're less decrepit, and they're much younger as
Yeah.
well. So I'd take the Pelicans to win.
Yeah, I would probably still take the Clippers, specifically coaching, number one, Tyronn Lue,
True.
maybe the best tactical coach in the NBA at this point, at least in the Western Conference, not named Mike Malone. And then we also have Kawhi Leonard, who last playoff run, Kawhi was pretty gnarly with what he was doing to the Phoenix Suns in that first round. I thought Kawhi Leonard played great there. So if we get that Kawhi Leonard, I think the Clippers will be able to get by. Do I think they'll be in the Western Conference Finals? Probably not, because you're currently slated to face the Denver Nuggets and you're a couple games behind the Timberwolves, and the Pelicans may pass you and get home court advantage. So I could see like maybe the Pelicans win 2 games at home and then the Clippers adjust and start to come back in that series. But I think overall, the West, every single first round matchup is going to be
Incredible.
entertaining.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Even the in season, like even the play-in tournament is fantastic.
Yeah.
Play-in tournament, I want to see the Mavericks make it into the 6th seed and then see some sort of match. I want to see the Suns in the play-in tournament.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's the Nuggets and